Yo, guys, welcome to the Blue Podcast. This is the Purple Show with me, Tom, and Ben, and new face, Tom Conor, who's one of my mates from university. How you doing, Ben?
Good, thanks.
How you doing, Tom?
Great, thanks. Good to be here.
So, obviously, we had to, as you can see, Fab and Cam couldn't make today, and we wanted to get the Purple Show back up and running ASAP after the new year. So we've got substitutes now. We got subs for when Fab and Cam can't make it, and Tom supports Nottingham Forest, so keeping with the red theme. Keeping the Purple Show being the Purple Show. We've got to keep it Purple Show. So obviously, me and Ben being Chelsea and City fans. But we also thought today we could now also track a bit about the Championship, which is something that we don't normally do on the podcast. But before we get started, the usual stuff. Subscribe if you're new around here. If you enjoy the video, please do leave a like. It really helps us out more than you can imagine. Check us out on Twitter at the Blue Podcast 1 and Instagram, which is also at the Blue Podcast 1. Our TikTok is at the Blue Podcast, and our merch is in the top of the description as well. We've released some new stuff, so do make sure you go check that out. Should we start with the City's win against Swindon? I didn't watch the game, Ben. How did you watch it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, a lot stronger team than I thought was going to get put out, but they basically put all the first teamers that we had available out and Cole Palmer, and that was the 11 basically. The rest of the bench was youth players except Laporte. So. Yeah,
I got some messages from Ben before the team was out saying, "Oh, we're going to play just youth players, and we're going to lose against Swindon." And then you see the team, and it's like full strength, pretty much.
Yeah, it comes out and every first team player that was available that they just played basically. But I was speaking to my dad about it. I think it's because Pep really likes rhythm, so it's like whoever was in the first team was going to play that game because we don't have. Obviously the League Cup games and stuff, so we'd have a week break in between, or 2 weeks break if they played the youth players that game from Arsenal to Chelsea. So he was probably thinking we'll play just the normal team to keep the rhythm going. So yeah, that's why he played all the first teamers who were available. And Cole Palmer was really good actually. I saw a tweet calling the Mank Mahrez, which I can see sort of the way his movement and the way he is, because he's really good at beating the man and stuff, and the way he dribbles.
He's left-footed as well.
Yeah, and just that is just the way he moves, like it reminds you of Mahrez a little bit.
I have to say, with the Man City Academy, you look at Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, that James McAtee as well. And they're all identical, like left-footed, plays like right wing or cam, just cuts in. If you watch them play, all identical.
Yeah.
It's weird. You can just see how the academy works through those.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was it Gary Neville who was like, yeah, they're not youth players, they're clones.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah. No, it's good to see. It is good to see, and obviously a few more youth players came on in the second half. So
was David Silva left-footed as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a City trend coming, isn't there? Where it's just
all
the good midfielders / wingers are left-footed.
Yeah, maybe.
Because you got Bernardo Silva now, Riyad Mahrez, obviously Palmer, Foden, and that other youth player that you mentioned. I mean, they're all City must have left-footed. That's why you didn't make it, Ben, isn't it? You were right-footed.
Oh no! I was, but I can use both feet, me. No, I'm not having this. but no, actually, no. That's a good excuse. That we'll keep it.
Yeah, you keep the excuse that you didn't make it. I didn't say
reason. I didn't like. I could use both feet and not just my left foot. That's
what I want. Yeah,
exactly.
Actually, while we're on the point of Man City, Tom, I just wanted to ask you on the last Purple Show, you mentioned that Grealish was showing his value at £100 million player and that he had a nailed-on spot for Man City. What do you think about that now?
Well, this Purple Show was what? October?
Yeah.
November? Well, that's changed slightly. I don't know. I haven't watched enough of City lately to comment. I can comment. Yeah, I disagree. Yeah, I completely backtrack that statement. He hasn't quite proven himself lately. And you have to say the 200 pound signings haven't really flourished like we all thought they would. I think Lukaku's still doing all right and has got a spot in the Chelsea team to start. So I feel like he's done better. But yeah, Grealish is falling off.
I think he's done better with all that shenanigans. No chance.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I'm saying he's done better. I'm talking about pure like on because Grealish has had shenanigans as well, hasn't he? So I'm saying purely on, like,
he's not straight up said he doesn't want to be at the club.
I'm talking about on the pitch.
It's technicalities.
We've spoken a lot about Lukaku lately.
Skirting around it. It's skirting around it, you see.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd take back that statement on Grealish. But also, I think that a lot of other City players have stepped up a lot this season. Like, obviously, you'd say Foden's got even better. Mahrez seems to be having an incredible season again. Obviously, Bernardo Silva looking, well, probably like City's best player for the last 6 months or so. So, yeah, I backtrack that statement, even though it was a long time ago. A lot has changed.
Yeah, I think obviously he's had a few interruptions in terms of the shenanigans off the pitch, like going out and stuff. So Pep's put him in his place, showed him if you're not going to be respecting the rules of the team, then you're not going to play, sort of thing. And then I don't know, did he have an injury, like a little knock?
I think he did have a little injury in England, wasn't it?
Yeah. But so it's like, and then he's also at the start of the season he was playing. His front three was Grealish, Jesus, Foden, and he's switched that to Sterling, Mahrez, Foden, which was what was playing in the Champions League. But now he's changed that to the Premier League because Sterling's coming to form. Mahrez is just kept on doing what he's doing. And Foden is, Foden. So
it really does show the City squad depth, though, because over the last 3 or 4 Premier League games, I only know this because I had Sterling in my fantasy football team, and it's particularly frustrating. But one week he'll play a front three of Sterling, Jesus, and Mahrez. Next week he'll play Grealish, Foden, and Bernardo Silva up there. The rotation is unreal. Like what did they win against Leeds? 7-0 was it? Something like that. Yeah. And Sterling scored loads, Foden scored loads, and then the next week they're just chopped out. And it's like it doesn't even matter based on form or anything like that. It's just got so much quality that it just doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Ben?
Well, it's obviously a nice problem to have. I can't there's no getting around that. Like, it's obviously nice. But yeah, I mean, what I would say is I do think Grealish is sort of getting a bit, he's getting a bit sort of a lot of unfair hate, I think, and criticism. Because I mean, you just have to, obviously the price tag, don't get me wrong, is a lot of money, ridiculous fee, but you just have to look at other City players who City have signed: Mahrez, Cancelo, Rodri. A lot of Pep signings have taken a season to sort of settle in, and in the second season they hit the ground running. I think it's obviously Aston Villa who's sort of like that cool.
He was the man, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was like that popular player to sort of like, even if you weren't a supporter of Villa. And then obviously he's gone to City, and people don't like City for various reasons. So it's like Villa have just signed Coutinho, and people are like, oh yeah, Villa, fantastic business, sold Grealish for 100 and brought in Coutinho on loan, fantastic. And I was like, well, no, because Coutinho could still be crap. Like, so I know it's like basically that they've got nothing to lose because it's a loan, but like making out like there's some sort of like genius like transfer business and like they've been calculating it from the start is just a load of bollocks. But yeah, I think it's a bit unfair at the moment, but that's just social media, isn't it? So,
do you not think it is a good piece of business then, getting in Coutinho?
Oh yeah, no, don't get me wrong. It is a good piece of business, but like these people making out like they calculated from the start. They were like, "We'll get rid of Grealish and bring in Coutinho," and like that's just like. But yeah, don't get me wrong. Like if it on loan, it's like a win-win. If he's crap, then they're not losing any money. If he's great, then they've got him on a free. Like so.
I think there's an option to buy as well at the end of the season.
There is an option, yeah.
Is there? How much is that? Do you know?
I don't know.
It's not that expensive, I don't think.
I suppose the bigger problem is paying his wages, like 100% of his wages. That's kind of an issue, isn't it? Yeah.
That's why they want to get rid of him at Barcelona, because he has got that big amount of wages, and obviously there's that wage cap in Spain, which is why they can't sign on Ferran Torres yet, even though they paid for him.
Yeah, they can't register him until Coutinho.
Yeah.
In fact, I think even now I read that they still can't register.
Yeah, the Coutinho loan hasn't actually fixed the problem, which is why we're probably going to get Dest for about 16 million quid, which would be, I think, a steal for someone that young, having played for Ajax, Barcelona, American international as well. Will bring more rise to Chelsea from America, which just means money, to be honest, in terms of like having Americans in the team, which is why I think we're going to try as hard as we can to keep Pulisic. He was playing quite well lately.
Yeah,
but
Barca are desperate to get people off the books, and I guess it depends on whether Coutinho would be willing to reduce his wage if Villa, not inevitably, but eventually said they want to sign him permanently. But I did see that Chelsea, in terms of like fullback options, are wanting Tuchel. Fabrizio Romano was saying Tuchel wants to recall Emerson.
You can't recall him though.
Yeah, like apparently they're trying to work something out or something.
Basically what happened was we contacted Leon, I think it was, asking them, can we have Emerson back? Because in the loan contract, there was no bit in it that said we can recall him when we want to, or it's just basically down to the club. And obviously he's playing a lot and starting for them. So they obviously don't want to lose him, which is fair enough. But I think we're trying to find
a solution,
some fine print solution where we can get around it.
You'll probably have to pay him like a couple of £100,000 or something, and they'll be like,
I think Chelsea would rather have to pay a bit of a fine maybe or something for him than have to bring in like a £20 million player who won't necessarily fit straight into the team. And obviously everyone knows
they're interested in Coutinho, aren't they?
Yeah,
he's fallen out with Benitez, and he's like the prime target for Chelsea.
Well, yeah, I think they've said we have to pay 20 to 22 million for him, which I think would be not bad. The main issue is that he'd be on his contract would be, I think, just above or the same as Marcos Alonso, who's obviously been at the club for that long, is older, and would have it's. I think the question now is, do we bring in someone on such a high wage when we've got it's so many intricate bits with all the Dest and the Digne signings that we obviously don't know, which will be tough. But I'm sure we'll get one of them. I think I personally would rather get Dest because of the versatility of him. And Digne, I know Digne is great. He obviously plays for the French national team and stuff, but I just know that when Chilwell's back, probably in about October, he's not going to want to stick around. So that could cause a bit of unrest. Whereas Dest, he's younger than Chilwell and James, if not the same age as James, maybe 1 year younger. But English speaking, can play both sides, can play as a wing back, can play as a full back. For Tuchel, he fits the bill so much better than Digne does, who's actually more of a conventional left back.
Yeah.
But speaking of Chelsea, we beat non-league side Chesterfield 5-1 yesterday, which was a nice watch.
Yeah.
It was an alright watch. Hudson-Odoi's goal was lovely. I saw some people reacting to tweets about Werner's finally scored or something after so long, and then it's like a quoted retweet of his goal doesn't count because it was a tap-in or something like that. Mm-hmm. So
no, it's not so much it doesn't count because it's a tap-in, but it's Chesterfield.
Yeah, it's
That as
Chesterfield.
well, yeah.
There might
But
be.
yeah, I mean, we did the same thing. I thought we were playing a lot more youth players. Obviously, we did play Hall, a left centre back, 17 years old. Makes me feel bloody old. And we had pretty much had a team that would a front three and a midfield that would probably face like City on the weekend, which is a bit. I was a bit like, okay, we're playing a non-league side, and we've got a front three of Werner, Lukaku, Ziyech, and Pulisic. Well, from five with Hudson-Odoi as well, and I was a bit baffled by that. But I mean, it worked out. I tell you what, though, I know Hall got man of the match, and I know it was Chesterfield, but he did look good. Did look very good, which was nice from a youth standpoint to see another young player, especially with Chelsea's serious lack of fit defenders right now. To find one that's not going to have to be bought, which is nice, and he can apparently play left back and left wing back, which is interesting.
Yeah. And he's going to probably play 2 more times for Chelsea and then get sold.
Next season.
Probably on loan. I can imagine a loan spell.
No,
I think the only person of late that hasn't gone on loan that has come from the academy into the team is Hudson-Odoi. I think he's the only one that hasn't.
What'll happen actually? First, he'll have 5 loans, and then he'll be like,
5 loans.
Maybe I'm not going to get a first team opportunity at Chelsea, and then he'll go. That's what'll happen.
Did you see Baker made his second ever appearance for Chelsea as well at 26 years old?
No, Lewis Baker, he's been around for so long, hasn't he?
He's been around for so long, and he got his second forwards, and you could tell he was so desperate to do well. Like he got clattered at one point, like fell over, and like the typical thing would be to roll around, but he got the foul, got straight back up into position, and was clearly just I'm going to make the most of this 25 minutes that he had, which was nice, but everybody Dad didn't know about him, and he was like, "Oh, so who's this then?" And then the commentator goes, "Lewis Baker with his second ever start for Chelsea after a 6-year gap, 26 years old." He was like, "Oh, that's not great."
Yeah, you wonder why you still got him.
You would have thought that he personally would have gone, "Please, can you just sell me? Like, can you find me a club?"
He must have a good contract. He probably doesn't think he'll be able to get as good a contract elsewhere. He's not a Premier League player.
That's the wrong
mentality. He can get Premier League club wages.
Yeah, that's the wrong mentality, isn't it? Oh, I'm not going to get a contract like this. You're thinking, and you'd like to think as in terms of being a player, you'd be like, I want game time. I want to play. I want minutes. I want appearances. So even that means
you must like him though if he's played. Even there were so many youth players on the bench you could have picked, and he did pick Lewis Baker. So I mean,
felt sorry for him.
There is something in that. There must be something in that because you wouldn't play him otherwise.
He did what your dad did. He was like, "Who's this? Lewis Baker? Is he you play? Is he good? Is he good?" And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, no, he's been here forever. He's 26. He's just danging about. I don't know why he's still here." He's like, "Oh. All right, yeah. Well, we'll play him. Yeah, we'll,
give him a second ever appearance for Chelsea. When we're 5-0 down, 5-0 up even. Bessinelli got his first start as well for Chelsea, which was I think good for him, even though he did look crap for the goal. It wasn't exactly some fine keeping, but he didn't have to do much. I'm trying to find things to talk about with Chelsea, but obviously you have to take a lot of it with a pinch of salt. Like there were certain players like Sarr and Saul who've continued a really good run of form lately. But again, it's Chesterfield, so you'd hope that they'd be playing well. But the difference is they played better than the other players on the pitch. So
no, it's just interesting. Just obviously you've got
realistically, the thing we're most excited about is the midweek. Obviously, Chelsea v Spurs.
City.
So, Tom, did Nottingham Forest play in the FA Cup this week?
They're playing today against Arsenal, actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you are, aren't you? Speaking of that, actually, quickly, that will be on the at the Blue Podcast one. We'll do our predictions as always, which will be out. The game's at 5:15.
5:15 or 5:30, one of those. Yeah.
So yeah, the prediction will be out an hour before that. We can get your live score prediction, Tom. That'd be fun. I haven't done one of those in a while. You excited for the game then?
I think we're going to lose probably quite badly actually. I'd rather focus on the championship, to be honest. I've seen things saying we've not even sold out the stadium. I guess the fans just aren't too fussed about the FA Cup. I mean, Arsenal. We've been drawn Chelsea, Arsenal in like the last 2 times we've been knocked out of the FA Cup. So it's not a surprise that we've got them again. Obviously, there's no bias, but it's just annoying that we couldn't draw like Chesterfield, for instance. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? And Chelsea get Arsenal instead. But
I mean, that would be not great, to be honest.
Well, for you maybe. No, for us it'd be pretty good. But I can't see, like you said about Chelsea and Man City, I can't see Arsenal taking a second team to the City ground because they've not got a game for another week after this, so they might as well.
No, they've got Liverpool on Thursday.
Oh, of course, yeah, in the League Cup. But even so, there's still 4 days away. I can't see them, like, there's no need to rest players for 4 days when you've just done like 28th and playing on the 1st in December.
I can definitely see Nketiah starting for them though with his.
Oh yeah.
Arab
Well, they don't have a striker, do they? Really, besides Lacazette, and
so Aubameyang's done for, which I think is actually. I mean, we've spoken about it before. Like massive help for Arsenal in terms of their performances ever since he left. They're just so much better without him.
Yeah. Do you think they'll get top 4 then?
We did think that, didn't we, Ben?
I mean, I me being a pessimist because I don't want them to said United, but like I think the overall I'll get out the poll. Actually, we did a Twitter poll for it.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think Spurs will get it, which might be a bit of an out there decision. But
sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, if you look at the league, they've got 2 games in hand. If they win those 2, they're only 3 points off Liverpool. And having Conte in and having like a team that's looking slightly balanced at the moment, I think they're in with a good chance of top 4. Yeah. I can't see it happening for United at the moment unless, well, I don't know. I mean, who do you get rid of? 17 unhappy first teamers or the part-time manager you just brought in for the next 2 years? One's got to go, don't they? So I can't see it happening for United. I think Arsenal are just too young. If you look at they've got good talent in there, but you need somebody more than just Lacazette that's above like 25 years of age, really.
Yeah, that is a very big factor with them, and that their average age is extremely low.
Yeah, I do think, like you said, they're like Spurs. I mean, I've said to Tom, like under Conte, they will be a threat. Mm-hmm. They will be there. Obviously, Arsenal are doing well. And then the reason I said United was that basically, like I say, I'm a pessimist, but like I feel like I'm a bit superstitious. So I feel like if I don't predict them to come 4th, then they will come 4th in the end. So I'm a bit because I'm obviously a City fan as well. I'm a bit superstitious that way, and a bit sort of.
Well, we didn't speak about the Twitter poll in our Twitter polls podcast that came out on Thursday, but Friday even came out on Friday. But we can chat about it now. The Twitter poll had 49 votes. We asked obviously who will get 4th spot. We had 29% of the votes for Man United, 27% of the votes for Arsenal, 10% West Ham, and 35% Spurs. So Spurs did get the overall win there, which I mean, it's quite a substantial amount as well. Obviously.
I mean, bar the Chelsea result in the League Cup, they're in good form, and the other thing is that they're not the finished article yet under Conte. So
I'd say a lot of teams, bar City and Liverpool, aren't really the finished article in terms of.
No, Chelsea are finished article. We're not there yet. No, give over.
We're not.
No, you are. Come on, sure. Look at the squad that Chelsea have.
If we had everyone fit, I'd say we are, but we haven't. So.
Who are you missing? Ben Chilwell,
Reece James, pretty much the two most integral players of our entire team.
The team's gone. They're like, it's complete. No. The squad is not there. Reece James is unfit. It's done. Yeah. It's done.
Yeah, it's as if you don't have Alonso and Azpilicueta to replace him with. Who haven't been at Chelsea.
Bad, man. Alonso's so bad.
You say that, but watching him play, like I'd agree, he's very, very slow. But he actually technically is very, very good. Probably,
Yeah, he was quite good against Spurs, to be fair. But that's because it's Spurs, and he always will score or put in a class performance against Spurs. I don't know what it is, but like I don't know if you could hear the Spurs fans on the TV booing their life out of him every time he gets the ball, which I think helps him a lot.
Yeah. No,
but,
I mean, I get what you're saying about sort of a lot of teams in and around that area aren't the finished article, but the difference is that Spurs, as well as being the unfinished article, are still getting the results.
And they've got Conte in there as their manager, which I think will be massively helpful.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at managers out of those four, probably the best one there is Antonio Conte.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on West Ham getting quite low votes in that?
I like West Ham a lot, and they're doing very, very well considering like the individual players that they have in the team. So you say if you look at their starting 11, you say Declan Rice is the only one that's a standout. But even Mikel Antonio, for instance, like I remember because he used to play for Forest, and we got him from Sheffield Wednesday for less than $1 million, I think, and he was like a right winger. So he was rapid. Everyone knew that, and he was fantastic at Forest when West Ham bought him. It was fair enough. But then at West Ham, he's been a right back before. He's been a right winger. He's been a left winger.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and the last season he had the number 30, which was obviously numbers don't matter too much, but it sort of symbolises his almost being a utility player. Like he's not, and he wasn't at least an out-and-out striker. That's why they bought Haller for 40-odd million.
Yeah,
and that's why they had Carroll and so many other players. But Antonio, just you look at him now and you think he's an absolute monster. You wouldn't put it past him to score a hat-trick in a game against anybody in the league, really, depending on how he's playing. And that is purely all because of David Moyes, I think.
Oh, massively. Moyes has massively helped a lot of those players in that squad. I think they do need a few more players just to, because the issue with West Ham is if they lose, let's say, one of their starting attacking midfielders, normal midfielders and centre backs, there's gonna be, and I'd say especially they haven't got a backup left back for sure, or right back really. I know Koufal and Cresswell are good, but you lose Koufal who played.
Actually, Ben Johnson's been good recently. I would argue with the right back because Ben Johnson has been very good recently. At left back, I would definitely agree with you because Masuaku is not even close to being a replacement.
Don't say his name. Don't say his name. Oh my God! Shrewsbury 1, Liverpool 0.
I was just about to say that.
Just saw the score. What? I'm not watching it, but I've got the scores just below me. I looked down for a second, and
what's the Liverpool team? Is it just youth players, or is it?
Yeah, they've done what I thought City and Tom thought Chelsea would do, basically. Liverpool.
They've got Calais, Bradley, Canate, Van Dijk, Robertson.
Okay, so it's not a youth team then. It's
Tom deliberately said the part of the team that isn't. Read the rest.
I'll start from the back. Thank you.
Read the rest.
Dixon, Bonner, Fabinho, Morton, Gordon, Waltman, Curtis Jones.
Okay, fair enough. The attack's terrible, but defense is good.
Yeah, that team shouldn't be conceding to Shrewsbury still. Like the team shouldn't be, because like the back 7 or 6 players are good enough to.
Oh yeah.
To not concede to Shrewsbury Town. Did anyone predict Shrewsbury to score? Is the next question, because I know there was a lot of high scoring comments on the last one. I put 5-1. Okay, Fab put 2-1 to Liverpool. Cam put 1-2 to Shrewsbury, so he's really hoping for a Shrewsbury win. Anyone else predict Shrewsbury score? Shrey Bray, Abroy. I'm dyslexic. I don't know what that means, but he also commented a Shrewsbury goal. So
I think it's 1-0, Tom.
It's 1-0.
Yeah, Gordon just scored.
Yeah, it's 1-0.
Tottenham are 1-0 down.
Tottenham are?
Yeah.
What? What's all happening right now? Yeah, they're losing to Morecambe. I mean, they've kind of gone second team there.
Okay.
I don't know who the keeper is. Oh, actually, no, that's quite a strong side still. Doherty, Tanganga, Rodon, Davies, Sessegnon, Celso, Winks, Ndombele, Gill, Ali.
They should be winning the game, yeah.
Yeah.
But if, even with that Spurs team, like they sound good on paper, but having watched all of those players for the last year and a half, like they're all terrible.
Yeah. I mean, Tanganga should have got man of the match in the Carabao Cup with a goal and assist.
That was absolutely shocking, especially the one where he just headed it straight into Davis' face. I mean, they can't do anything about it really, but it was comical how bad it was.
I don't think he'll be playing for a while. I think he got a little feeling.
Well, Tanganga's starting, so
no, I mean like
in the big matches.
In the big
the big matches, yeah, maybe. Well, the thing is, Conte's not one to necessarily drop someone because they didn't have the best performance in the game. He's not like Mourinho in that sense. Obviously, if Mourinho was still managing them, Tanganga's out for the next 3 weeks.
That will be in the back of his mind.
Oh yeah, 100%. Which is probably why he's starting this game rather than on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But what was I about to say? I can't remember. But I mean, Morecambe have, I think, scored from a corner or a free kick because their central centre back has scored.
Right.
That would make sense.
So I don't know if it's full blown anarchy yet, but I hope so. I hate Spurs. West Ham are beating Leeds with a Lanzini goal. He's come into form lately. I think he's been scoring.
Lanzini is a quality player. He's an absolutely fun. He's had injuries that like have interrupted him a little bit, but like if he got picked up by I don't know, like a Sevilla or you know one of those teams, like he would not look out of place. Like he's like I think was it the last game like one of the goals he scored. I think it was against Palace.
Yeah, it's a half volley. Yeah.
He like came into it and he like controlled it right to left foot and then half in. Like he's a quality player. He's just been interrupted with injuries and that stopped his development and stuff. But he's fantastic. I think anyway.
Fair enough. Well, should we talk a bit about the championship then, Tom? Your Forest are currently in 9th place. How's your season been for us non-championship followers?
For Forest especially, I mean, we started off the season with Chris Hughton in charge, who you'll know from being the Brighton manager. Premier League, you think, we might be in with a shot here. I think we were 5 or 6 games in, bottom of the league with 1 point, and then he got the sack. So we brought in Steve Cooper, ex-Swansea manager. Last 2 seasons, he's taken Swansea to the playoffs. So you're thinking, it's looking up, actually. And it did. We started doing really well, climbed up the table, but then, last couple of games, not been so good at all, which is why I'm not looking forward to the Arsenal match today. But besides Forest, rest of the championship, you're mainly looking at Fulham, Bournemouth, and West Brom for going up. You got Blackburn as well. Do you guys know Ben Brereton Diaz?
Yeah.
Have you heard of him?
Brereton Diaz. You've heard of him, Tom?
Surely.
Who?
Say
the name again.
The guy who got called up to Chile.
Yeah, I've got the best story about that because the reason he got called up to Chile is so random. So I only followed him like his career because he came through the Forest Academy. But basically, an editor on Football Manager. He was he was a Blackburn fan, but he worked for Sega for Football Manager. And when he's editing the player profiles, he noticed that Brereton's grandmother was Chilean. So he just popped it in the game as like a funny afterthought that, he's got a Chilean grandmother. So theoretically, he could be called up to Chile. And then it started as like a Twitter thread.
I do know about this.
Trying to get Brereton to play for Chile, essentially, because he was eligible. And then people started to take notice of it, just like a few Football Manager diehards, just trying to get Brereton to be eligible for Chile. He found out about it, couldn't speak a word of Chilean. He had no idea he was even eligible. All of a sudden, he's called up to play in the Copa America. That was it. He's taking photos with Vidal and Alexis Sanchez. All of a sudden, he's got over like 1 million followers on Instagram. And they had a daytime program in Chile called Brereton Diaz Mania, because he changed his surname to Brereton Diaz. So it would be more Chilean, essentially. And then they had this entire TV program called Brereton Diaz Mania, where they just showed his goals and highlights and stuff, because like the country just fell in love with him. And now he's got 20 plus goals in the league, in the championship this season, and a bunch of Premier League clubs are interested. It's just like, what a fantastic like journey he's had, essentially, because he's still a young player.
Yeah,
I just think it's terrific.
Yeah, that's quite.
I think didn't he get an assist or score as well in like his first appearance for them as well? Like Sanchez or something like that. It's like,
and that was like the big news, because he's not Chilean, but he's playing for them, and he's now with Alexis Sanchez instead of what would you say for Blackburn? I could name about 2 Blackburn players, and Adam Armstrong doesn't even play for them anymore. But yeah, that's the sole reason pretty much they're doing really well, because of him.
That's pretty that's pretty good. I do vaguely remember that story coming out. That was last year, am I right?
Just before the Copa America.
Yeah, I remember that story now.
I'm like, I mean, Forest is still there or thereabouts, aren't they, in terms of getting there for the playoffs with the other team? So you never know, just a decent run of form and you'll be there probably. But you could.
That's the beauty of the championship, really. It's any like last season we were 18th or 17th, something like that, and this season we're 9th, 6 points off the playoffs. But like any team could win the championship, any team could get relegated. You look in the past at like Sunderland, look where they are now, and they came down from the Prem and got immediately relegated. So it really is I think it's the most competitive league in the world. I get a lot of backlash for that, but if you're a fan of a championship club, you tend to agree with me that it is the most competitive league in the world, in terms of any team could be anywhere in the table and just beat anybody. Like Derby beat West Brom the other day. Derby are currently sat on
11 points.
I don't know if they're still on negative points or not, because they took a minus 16 point deduction, I think, for financial fair play, which is just music to my ears, really, when that story dropped. Obviously, Derby being the big rivals of Nottingham Forest. And yeah, Derby beat them 1-0 with a bunch of youth players, and West Brom are the big title contenders. So it's the best league in the world, I think. Most competitive, at least.
Fair enough.
Definitely.
Well,
I was just looking at like Forest's form, like definitely an upturn in form since Cooper came in, because when Hughes was manager, like you say, you're bottom with a point, but then Cooper came in, it's like 1 drawn, 1-1-1-1, lost, drawn, 1, draw, 1-1, and then recently obviously got the 2 losses. But like the upturn in form with Cooper is a good, like gone on a good run.
It's crazy as well, because we didn't change a single player. It's the exact same squad of players that Houghton had that now Coop has, and you look at the difference that a manager can make. I think the championship exemplifies that, just the difference a manager can make.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, yeah, like it definitely gives sort of even if you don't get the playoffs this year, like you've got like you say, it shows what a good manager can do, and so you've got a good manager, so you'll be able to hopefully challenge for that next year. But
yeah,
you never know this year. But yeah,
there's only, as you said, only 6 points between, and you've got a game in hand. So
yeah. But
do you wish that there was a fantasy league for the championship as well?
There is a fantasy league for the championship.
Oh, there is.
There actually is. Yeah, it's just nobody plays it, so there's kind of no point taking part. And plus, the Premier League's a lot more fun. Like when you're thinking of big names for the championship, and you're looking at Callum Robinson for West Brom compared to Mo Salah for the Premier League. I mean, who are you really going to invest more time and energy into, like watching the games? Like, come on, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Really.
And the reason I asked that is obviously because we have obviously got a Blue Podcast Fantasy League, and Tom is currently second on it.
Yeah,
the chance to win some merch and a guest spot on the podcast, and I guess you've already got one of those, haven't you?
Yeah, I'll take another though. I would happily come back for a second time and guest. Yeah,
but yeah, you, Tim, and Tom at Lloydie have been battling, but it seems like you and Tim seem to be getting a bit more of a gap between you guys and third.
Yeah, I was definitely looking at his team, and we're very similar, especially that last week gone. So I think at the moment I've captained Antonio, he's captained Bowen, and obviously they're playing in the same match. So that'll be very interesting to see what happens. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, obviously there's a lot of games still to come. So obviously, I mean, you never know. People like Ali and Fab could come out of the the abyss of fourth.
Don't
and
make
fifth
me laugh.
to
I
make
remember when Fab was above me. That was that
Yeah,
didn't last very long.
that didn't last very long though. I remember he got first in the first week, and he was like, "I can have a pair of socks or something just whilst I'm first," just because he didn't back himself to stay there. But I mean, Ali and Fab are they're what, just under 50 points behind Lloydie, so it's not too much in it. Although he is about 60 points behind you, and then obviously you're 6 points behind. No, 6 points.
Yeah.
14 points behind.
10,
That's it. But like one game week could literally be 20 points difference, and that's like completely changed the table already. So,
I mean, theoretically, a game week could be 60, 70 points difference. So just especially if you play one of your chips, you get triple captain in, and you pick. So who's got a double game week next week? I'll use mine for instance. I've just brought in Josh King on a free hit, so I can't triple captain him. But say I captain him, he's playing bottom two like Burnley and Newcastle. Theoretically, you could get 2 hat tricks in those games. If I captain him with 2 hat tricks, that's nearly 80 points. If you think 80 points from one player, obviously this is a massive long shot, and the chance of it happening are very slim. But the difference that can make is unbelievable. You can go from, so I think there's how many people in our league at the moment? Just over 50?
There's 48 with
48.
3 more joining. Obviously, we put it in the football chat
yeah.
recently, and we got Anthony, Ben, and Miles joining in as well. My dad is last place. Looking at it,
I saw that. Yeah, that looks like a game week 1 team that was never been touched after.
He hasn't really done any transfers.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
My uncle is in 39th actually, so he's doing all right. I'm trying to look at people we know. Joe, who's the host of the Red White, well, one of the hosts for the Red White Blue shows, in 34th.
Where are you?
I am currently in 15th, mate.
It's not too bad actually.
Where's Kiz?
Kieran is above below. Jack's doing really well in 10th actually. I'm considering he's not got great ball knowledge. No offense, Jack, but he's doing really well. Where's Kieran? Kieran's in 23rd.
Where's Will Reese?
Will Reese, that's your mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where is he?
Or is he slacking?
Ryan Williams, no. Will Reese is in 16th place.
Oh.
Yes. He is on the same points as me, though.
So is it goal difference or something?
And he's got Mbuemo, who I don't know if he'll play. And
He did just score a hat trick last game, though.
but he's got Reguilon coming in, actually. Shit. He's got Reguilon coming in with 6 points and Benteke with 2. That's an extra 8 points, which is not great. But I've got still got Tony, Antonio, Gray still to play. So hopefully they can bring me in some points. Okay.
Got to hope the Everton Leicester game's not called off though.
Yeah, that would be a bit disastrous. But the thing with me though is I was in like the I remember at one point like 4 or 5 weeks in I was in like 38th, 37th. And I very much over the last say 2 months put a bit more time and effort into my fantasy team and been crawling up the ranks a little bit because I saw a lot of my mates obviously near the top and I was like, I can't be doing this. I run a bloody podcast. Can't be this far down the the list. So I put a bit more effort in.
This is why
I think Cam's doing really well as well, but he's not joined the league. But I think he'd be about 8th or 9th on our fantasy.
If he joins now, he'll keep the same points from that he has.
Yeah. I'll give him another message about it. I think he can't remember his password, so he can't do it online or something.
Oh right, okay.
Just lazy, really. Well, at least he's doing it, unlike someone.
Yeah, this is the reason why I don't do it because I can't be asked like putting the time and effort to like be like, so this player, yeah, oh no, he's not playing now. Like, can't be asked with me.
To be fair, I like the eye test. I just watch Match of the Day and think who looks fantastic on there.
That's fair.
Yeah, you use Alan Shearer, Gary Lineker, and Ian Wright sometimes as your opinions.
They're my scouts for me. Yeah, they give me their analysis now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Go on.
Oh no, I was just going to say, yeah, I still think the best decision, probably the only reason I'm where I am this season, is Emmanuel Dennis. That man is the GOAT of fantasy football for this season so far. I mean, I was just watching him on TV and I thought, yeah, he's probably the best striker that Watford have got. He's looking skillful, and they only brought him in for like 1 million. So I just at the start of the season, you think, and he's a nobody, of course, so you think he's not going to do anything. Brought him in before the Man U game, 2 goals and an assist. And after that, he went on one of the best scoring runs that we've had so far. I was like, what a stroke of genius. I bring him in against Man U, and then he scores against Man U and Chelsea in the next few games. It was fantastic.
I remember when he was like popping off as well, and I kept on thinking, I'll bring him in. But then I look at his fixture list and be like, oh, no, there's no point doing it. And then he just kept on scoring.
Yeah. 2-1 Liverpool, by the way.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No, he's with him, they've not allowed him to go to the AFCON, have they? Because they're that desperate to keep him. Because like he's our only scorer. So like, yeah, I don't
Apart
know.
from Josh King, but he's not scored too much lately.
No, that's why I've gone Josh King instead of Emmanuel Dennis this week. I just think law of averages. Emmanuel Dennis is like the left forward, like left winger type position, and Josh King's the main striker on penalties. I just think sooner or later, or actually Dennis might be on penalties, but sooner or later, Josh King's got to just score a lot of goals. Like he scored a hat-trick against Everton. He's got it in his locker. I just think law of averages says he's got to do it sooner or later. So I'm banking on it being this week.
The amount of times though, I will spend like, I'll see a player who's injured or not in form, click replace, put the price maximum, then just go total points, scroll to the right, see who's got the best fixtures and the best points, then just put them in and you're like, okay, this should work. It's just worked out so far though.
Worked out for 15 maybe.
Yeah, it's worked out for me to get from 30 to 15.
Yeah, see, I like finding somebody that's doing absolutely terribly and just gambling on them having like a wonder of like 3 or 4 weeks or something like that. The amount of times
that's how you win it though, is you make a massive gamble and then obviously it pays off. Whereas I just want to get top 10 and I'm happy.
yeah. Although you can get top 10 with gambles. You keep a nice team and then every week you just go, right, because you can see the ownership of players as well. So anything below 10% is considered a differential, you'd say. Like very few people have them, obviously less than 10% of people in the game. So just every week or so, you just go, right, who's got a good run of fixtures? The amount of times I've gambled on Dele Alli, I'll never make that mistake ever again. I mean, I probably will, but just because of his like potential as a player and how he's been doing so terribly and everybody thinks he's rubbish, I just think, Spurs have got a decent couple of games and I know Ali's going to start. Why not throw him in? He's definitely got it in his locker to score a couple. And if I do it, I'll be the only one that's done it.
Yeah, true. That's why I brought in Malpe for this week. Just screw it. Got me 5 points. Sanchez as well. I brought him in last week as well. He would if Everton just didn't decide to suddenly score 2 goals right at the end. I was having like a really good decision there. I was like, okay, clean sheet. He's got 4 saves as well. Like, this is going to be good. And then you can see it's 2 goals.
Yeah. No, to be honest, at the moment, I'd say best team to go for are probably Everton and then Villa. Even though neither of them are doing particularly well, just the run of fixtures and the fact that they've got good individuals suggests that they're going to do very well eventually. And
on that note,
I've got one more.
You got one more thing?
Yeah. I was just going to say, I'm going to ask, would you back Forest to get playoffs? Or, you think Forest to get playoffs, or do you think that's not happening this season?
I'd love them to get playoffs. I would. I'd love going down to Wembley and seeing us get battered in the final, but I just don't think we'll even make it that far. I can't see us getting playoffs. With the quality that every other team has got in the league, even the ones below us, I don't see us getting it. Albeit, we have just signed Steve Cook from Bournemouth on a free transfer. You'll be familiar with him. Been in the Premier League for a few years, so we've got that experience coming in, and we're also looking to sign Jed Wallace, apparently, who, if you're unfamiliar with him, he's a Millwall player at the moment. He's one of the most prolific Championship assisters and goal scorers over the last few years, so he would be a bit of a scalp if we did get him.
Fair enough. Well, before we start wrapping up, what's your score prediction for Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal?
Shall I go first? Oh, okay.
We've done ours already. We're waiting.
Oh, have you? Oh, okay. Wait, what were your twos?
I went for 4-1 Arsenal, and Ben went for 3-1 Arsenal.
I was going to say 3-0 Arsenal. I can't see Forest scoring. If anyone's going to score Forest, it'd be Brennan Johnson. What a player. What a player Brennan Johnson is.
Well, watch him score now.
Yeah. I predicted.
Oh yeah, actually, I was supposed to ask you about it, wasn't I? I was supposed to ask you about who's the best midfielder in the world right now.
In the world?
Is it midfielder?
Talking to me?
No, I'm talking to Tom. Who's Brennan Johnson?
Who is Brennan Johnson? A young Welsh attacking midfielder. We're playing him at right wing at the moment. He was on loan at Lincoln City last season in League One, and he was doing very well there. So we brought him in for this season. Probably got a value of about 10 mil in the market, but Brentford have bid about 10, 15 mil, I think, and we rejected that. So we want about 20, 25 mil for him. For a 19-year-old Welsh right winger who's got about like 4 goals in the league so far, I'd say he's got a lot of potential. And obviously that's being echoed by the price tag that we slapped on him.
Fair enough. That was the. I was told to ask that by Ben, obviously. Not Ben, you, Ben, different Ben. But yeah, anything else you guys want to say before we start wrapping up?
No.
Thank you very much for having me on. It's been very good. Thank you.
No worries. It's been a pleasure, mate. I'm sure we'll get you on in the future. If you guys did like the video, please do drop us a like and subscribe if you're new around here. We are so close to 900 subs. We keep on getting closer and closer, but we're almost there, aren't we, Ben? Almost. We're uploading again, so yeah, we'd appreciate the sub. It helps us out a lot. Obviously, check us out on Twitter and Instagram at the Blue Podcast 1. Obviously, we got our Twitter predictions. This will come out actually after the Arsenal Nottingham Forest game predictions, but yeah, we do them for every Chelsea, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and United game, not Spurs, because we put a poll out on Twitter and there was no majority win. It was exactly 50% yes and no. So we're going to not do them yet, but we'll ask maybe next season. Who cares, really? And who would be predicting that Morecambe would be beaten 1-0 at half time? No one. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and me and Ben will certainly see you next Friday for another Blue Podcast.